I will feel vindicated when I see Barack Obama get, have
Amen.
Handcuffs on, being escorted from his house and being brought into jail. First of all, my hat's off to Tulsi Gabbard. I think Tulsi Gabbard just demonstrated a level, as I said this morning, of courage, commitment to being just absolutely transparent, which is what this administration has said from the beginning, and just getting to the truth. This very important meeting, it looks like, on December 8th is really the piece of data that I think has now been exposed to really allow everybody to connect the dots. As I said early this morning on my X post, basically, I laid back out the plan, which was 8 years of Obama, 8 years of Hillary. And Steve, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation. And so once, enter summer of 2015 and so on and so forth, and Donald J. Trump wins the election, as you well know, in November of 2016, then, all that the gates of hell were unleashed by Obama. And that's what we now know. Now, it's not just Obama. Of course, it goes back to the summer of 2016. And actually, what we're learning from this is actually goes back to late 2015, probably December 2015 timeframe. So what I want people to know from this is that there are going to be other names that have never been really exposed, people over at the National Security Agency, others inside of the FBI, others in the CIA that are going to be in big trouble here, because now that we know where it began, and it really did begin with the direction and intention of Barack Obama, that is going to open up so much more evidence. And as I know Tulsi has been doing for a number of months now, they've been culling through all this evidence. And that's why you saw recently the open investigation on Comey and Brennan. That's just the first shot across the bow for what I'm calling, either you can call it a counterpunch or you can call it a counteroffensive. But President Trump, you got to believe he's fully aware of all this. This is why, I think the last few days and maybe weeks, you've seen a level of frustration. And it doesn't mean that, everybody's off the hook on some of the other issues that we're dealing with. But this is the biggest crime in the history of the United States of America. As I said, I think it was yesterday, Steve, that, this is a moment that is really surreal for many people in the U.S. that never felt like we would ever go through or experience a coup. Basically, a coup which would take down a duly elected president of the United States by another individual. Now, I will tell you, and I've said this very publicly, if you're going to stage a coup, you better kill the king. Metaphorically using that because he's not a king. He's the president of the United States, but twice we have seen assassination attempts on him, very public assassination attempts on him. Many people don't know of the other threats against his life. So they were not able to do that. They also, in my case, and I'll speak specifically from me, I went through hell. My family went through hell, but they picked the wrong Irishman and they picked the wrong Irish family, because we knew from the very beginning, and Steve, I don't think we realized when we were first in the White House in the early days of 2017, just how deep these people and how much they were willing to go. And now what we're learning, and I've known this, I've just written just published a book on it called Pardon of Innocence, because Trump had to use his pardon power to pardon an innocent man. Most people think I spent time in jail and was convicted. And, my case was dismissed because of egregious government misconduct. So we now, do I feel vindicated? I will feel vindicated when I see Barack Obama get, have
Amen.
Handcuffs on, being escorted from his house and being brought into jail. I would say right now, if I were in the Department of Justice, or if I was in the White House, I would demand that the Attorney General immediately take away the passports from these individuals who we know have already been named. And there's some others that have not been named yet. Take away the passports. Do not allow them to leave this country, because I guarantee they're waking up, this morning saying, where can I go? We got to get the hell out of here, because they committed a massive conspiracy to undermine and overthrow the United States of America, the United States government, the president of the United States, and the presidency. And they left a wake in their path that is unprecedented.
We're on a three-prong attack here against the Murdochs on the civil charges, to release everything about the Epstein situation, and most importantly now is to get to the bottom of this, because the Epstein thing will fit into this with the intelligence services. This is why, folks, Tulsi Gabbard has been getting lit up over the last couple of weeks, kept out of meetings, because she was working on this with all the other intelligence. She was working on this, and there's certain elements, in particular, let me be blunt, the CIA today tried to thwart this. They tried to stop this. They tried to chop block this. I think it's one of the reasons they put out the great intelligence on Kennedy last week as another diversion play. That's very important because that's the first coup. But this is a full-on coup. Mike, you've talked about the 16-year plan to take it down. It shouldn't be lost on people. This should not be lost on people. The reason that Obama and Brennan and these guys wanted the coup is so we couldn't get into the information of what they've been doing as the deep state to drive us into war after war after war.
I mean, this goes all the way to Barack Obama. Will we actually see someone as high up as Barack Obama take responsibility, be accountable, maybe face criminal charges? Is that a possibility here based on the documents that you've released?
Yeah, Rachel, the seriousness of, again, the implications and the consequences of these actions that were taken demand accountability. The American people not only deserve the truth and accountability, when we look at the future of our country as a democratic republic and the American people's ability to have faith that when they go and cast a vote at the ballot box, that the will of the people will be respected by those in government, whether they be Democrats or Republicans, this is literally what is at stake here. So we are referring all of our documents to the Department of Justice for the purpose of accountability and action. No one, no matter who they are, no matter how high up they are or how powerful they may be, no matter who the intelligence officials or professionals were who were a part of this treasonous conspiracy, there must be accountability. The truth must be shown to the American people in order to ensure that there is this faith and trust and integrity in our democratic republic for the sake of the future of our country.
The only recommendation that Barack Obama made to the President of the United States is you cannot hire Mike Flynn. You cannot hire Mike Flynn. And the reason was that you knew, having been head of DIA and now going to be the National Security Advisor, you would know exactly where to go to unearth this. And this is why, one, they started this process of a coup, and number two, they could not have you in the White House in that position, sir.
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one, again, Tulsi Gabbard just demonstrated to the world how strong and how courageous she actually, she is. If anybody had any doubts about Tulsi Gabbard, those doubts need to be erased. The second thing, Steve, and this is a little bit more philosophical, but I actually believe that now, and I maybe it's my own faith and my own, trying to resolve what did occur. I actually believe that the United States of America needed to go through this, because we're at our 250th year mark. And for us to survive another 250 years, the American people, particularly the American people, needed to have us go through this. I hate to be at the fulcrum of it. And same with Trump. I know he didn't want to be there either. You too, Steve, and others, Peter Navarro, another one. There's other people that got hurt by this, Roger Stone. So all I'm saying is I do believe, and I've had to kind of come to grips with this, that I believe that our country, our nation, if we're going to continue to be a beautiful constitutional republic that we are for another 250 years, we needed to go through this pain. And we needed to demonstrate to the American people that there is evil in the world. There's definitely evil right here in our country. So I really believe now, looking back, and again, I to a bit tongue in cheek, I say they picked the wrong Irishman, and they did, because I think that had they gone after somebody else or allowed somebody else to be in a position, maybe that person wouldn't have been strong enough to be able to withstand the body blows that I know that I took, and certainly Donald Trump as well, because I don't want to discount what he and his family have experienced, nor do I want to ever discount what my family and I have experienced. But I do believe that there is some faith-based reason, and maybe it is, maybe it's one of those sort of God knows, but our nation needed to go through this, and now we know, and we are going to recover. So the action, the sort of the action plan coming out of here, Steve, is pay attention, focus on what we need to be doing. We have to stay heavily involved.
Hang on. We're only going to recover. We have to take this to its ultimate conclusion. The only way we're going to recover is you have to identify everyone associated with this. You have to get all the facts on the table. It has to be adjudicated. They have to be held responsible. And I think the charge here is going to be treason, right? This is treason. This is a coup. Yeah. And so this is just the beginning. Tulsi Gabbard's courage and the people around her, their courage, because there was a lot, and I mean a lot of blowback of them releasing this. We have to have their back, and we have to drive this forward. Mike, I know you're packed, but we're going to have you on next week. Just give it to, we're putting the tweet up now. Obama's 16-year plan to take down the nation. We want to address that with you on Monday on the show. But this all fits in to what Obama's strategy was, correct?
Absolutely. I want people to look at that tweet that I put out this morning. It's the plan, the strategy, the target, and the counterpunch, right? That's where we are at right now. We're at the counterpunch phase. But Steve, as you just said, now it's we're going to step into the world of the rule of law phase. And we can't have it go too long here, right? It's not like we got to go search for evidence. We have the evidence. Now there's got to be some decisions and people that are going to be caught now.
But hang on. As you know, the first issue with the intelligence, it's a wilderness of mirrors. We're going to get chop block 1,000 times, and going forward, they're going to say, no, you don't understand. This is what it was. It's very clear if you understand what's going on. But they're going to fight, and they're particularly going to fight, and the part of the battleground is the American people that are still asleep. They're going to say, oh, this is the craziest wing of the craziest political movement ever. This is a conspiracy theory, guys. This is the Q crowd, right? This is all of it. These people are nuts, and none of this is true. We're going to have a fight. This is going to be, because this is, if you get this done right, you break their control. This is about who controls this nation. We had an elected president of the United States and Donald Trump, and they said, impossible. We cannot have that guy take office here because he'll unearth all of our crimes and send us all to prison back in 17, 18, and 19. And they couldn't do it. And so they had a conspiracy to have a coup d'etat, which is a seditious conspiracy, a grand conspiracy, or a treasonous conspiracy. This is when the fight starts. Mike, we're putting up your tweet right now. We'll get you back on Monday to go in detail. Where do people get you over the weekend? Because I assume this is going to be on fire, sir.
Yeah, at Jen Flynn and on X, and I cross-post on all my other platforms, or they can go to generalflynn.com too, but I need everybody to start paying attention here. One of the things that you just said, and I'll say it again, Tulsi Gabbard gets a lot of credit, and she comes from a completely different angle when it comes into being the director of national intelligence. So there's not a lot of accusations that they can leverage against her, but boy, they're going to go after her hard. And the second thing is in counteroffensive operations, there's a lot of trickery and a lot of deception, and we have got to be ready for that.
Mike Flynn, if Grace and Mo can push that out, the strategy of the 16-year strategy of Obama to destroy the country, and they came very close to doing it. Now it's incumbent upon us to stop. General Flynn, honored to have you on here, sir.
God bless, Steve.